Welcome to the class again. Now we will discuss 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements. Right. What are 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements? When we have halides with heteroatoms in this fashion, now you can see it is 1, 2, 3. So it is a 3 system. This is 1, 2. So this is how we call it as 2, 3. 2 means 2 atoms and 2 atom system. 3 means 1, 2, 3, 3 atom system. So intramolecular 2, 3 system. So when it is treated under thermal conditions, it is a 6 pi electron system. It is a 6 pi electron system. When it is treated under thermal conditions, it undergoes 3, 2 sigma bond generation because it is negatively charged. The electrons can be polarized towards carbon 3 so that we can generate a sigma bond between 2 and 3. This double bond can be polarized like this. When we break this bond, this positively charged heteroatom will pick up this negative charge electron, so it becomes neutral. So this is how we can do 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements. Please don't change the carbon skeleton. Whenever you are writing the product, please don't change the carbon skeleton. Then give the numbering 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So what we are doing, we are generating a bond between 3, 2 because negative charge is used, so it becomes neutral because it is donating negative charge. X, it is gaining electrons, so it becomes neutral. Now the pi bond is rearranged to 1, 2 systems. So this is an example for 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements. Now we will see the examples for 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements. So these are involved halides. Okay, halide means both positive and negative charges in the same system. Like when we have a system like this is quaternary ammonium salt. We can easily prepare this. If you have amine, then when we treat this amine with methyl iodide, N-methylation takes place. Okay, and because of the positive charge, we can easily generate a negative charge next to the positive charge. Just treat with a base, then base will pick up the proton here, so it generates a negative charge. So this quaternary ammonium halides can be easily prepared. So what we need is, if we have allyl amine, this is allyl amine, then we can treat this with methyl iodide 3 times. Trimethylation takes place. Then treat with some base, butyl lithium. So we can easily generate the halide. Okay, right. When it is this halide is treated under thermal conditions, it undergoes 3, 3 sigmatropic rearrangement. Now I will give the numbering 1, 2, 3. So allylic system is 1, 2, 3. Halide is 1, 2. Now we will form a bond between 3, 2 systems. We will break the bond between 1, 1 system. So negative charge will be polarized to generate the sigma bond. Pi bond will be rearranged. then sigma bond will be polarized towards nitrogen. So this is the product. So don't change the carbon skeleton. For simplicity, I am writing it. Okay. Yeah, if you want, we can also give the numbering 1, 2, 3, 1. So this is the product in a 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements involving quaternary ammonium salts. Now, if we use the same reaction sequence, instead of allylamine, if we have benzylamine, it is called Stevenson Somlet-Hauser rearrangement. If you have benzylamine, this is benzylamine, we can do alkylation with methyl iodide, so 2 times, and even we can also do it 3 times. Okay, so what I'm starting is, this is N, N dimethyl benzylamine. When it is treated with methyl iodide, again methylation occurs on nitrogen, because nitrogen with its lone pair, it acts as a nucleophile, so it immediately undergo nucleophilic substitution, then iodide will be leaving, right? So next, it is treated with a strong base, either sodium methoxide or some butyl lithium reagents. When it is treated with strong base, what will happen? It generates the iolide. So we can use any of the strong bases. Okay. Then what it will generate? It will generate the iolide. So when we treat this fellow with methyl iodide, in the first instance, it undergoes methylation. Okay. Then when we treat it with strong base, it generates a negative charge. It generates a negative charge. Now you see it is perfectly fit into the 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangements. We will give the numbering. Benzylic system 1, 2, 3. Like allylic system 1, 2, 3. Here benzylic system 1, 2, 3. Then iolide is 1, 2. So we will form a bond between 3, 2 systems. We will break the bond between 1, 1 systems. So what is the product here? The product here is a rearranged benzylamine again. Here the product is a rearranged benzylamine. Okay, I'll write the product. I hope you have taken the first example. Right. Nitrogen. We have 2 methyl groups, negative charge. Now what we are doing, we are forming a bond between these 2 systems. We are breaking a bond between these 2 systems. How? I'll polarize the electrons and I will show you. So this negative charge is polarized towards the benzene ring. Then one of the double bonds in benzene ring is polarized to make a double bond here. Then this bond will break down and polarize towards positively charged nitrogen, so that it becomes neutral. Now, of course, there are 2 double bonds in the benzene ring, in the 6-membered ring, and there is one more double bond. Of course, it is exocyclic, but we can easily rearrange this, right? So when we do protonation, deprotonation, it again, this again gives the aromatic system. Okay. So a benzylamine, after generating the iolide, is again undergoing a 2, 3 sigmatropic rearrangement to again generate a rearranged benzylamine. So this reaction is called as Somlet-Hauser rearrangement. Yeah, please take the notes. I'll give you two more examples. This can be prepared in two ways. It is benzyl, so if you have amine, benzylation with benzyl bromide, and this also can be introduced by treating with alpha chloroethyl acetate. Alpha chloroethyl acetate, chlorine is a good leaving group, so we can do alkylation with alpha chloroethyl acetate, so we will get this. When we do alkylation with benzyl bromide, we will get this. Okay, so you write those two steps. Next, when this is treated with a strong base like DBU at 20 degrees centigrade, it generates an halide. What is important is first recognize the allyl system. In 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, it is always allyl amine or allyl oxygen, allyl alcohol or allyl sulfurs. Okay, so see, double bond is there. This is the allylic carbon. On the allylic carbon, we have nitrogen. So this is the system. So we need to give the numbering like this: 1, 2, 3. Then nitrogen becomes 1. Next carbon. In benzylic carbon also we have benzyl, but here also we have a carbon. Both are equally competitive carbons which can involve in this 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangements. But yeah, instead of benzyl anion, this anion is more favorable. So that is why I am utilizing this anion. Okay, so the DBU will generate anion here. So that anion will undergo 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. So there will be a bond formation between these two systems. There will be a bond breaking between these two systems. So obviously the ring size will increase. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what we are getting is altogether a 9-membered ring product. 6 are already there. We need to introduce 3 more. So N, we have benzyl group, CO2 ET, and we have a double bond here. If you want, you can take the overall numbering so that it would be easy. We'll start with nitrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, on the first system, nitrogen is the benzylic system, and this is the 9th carbon, and this is the 8th carbon. We have a double bond here between these two systems, so 6 and 7. I'll give one more example for your practice. See, this is the amine. and we are doing alkylation on the amine with allyl bromide. Then we are treating this fellow with sodium hydride. This is alkylation on amine. So we are generating this allyl amine system. And then we are treating with a base at this NME2, two methyl groups. Nitrogen with two methyl groups. Simply we can write like this. Okay. So then we are allylating it, alkylation. So it generates positive charge on nitrogen. When we treat with a base, it generates a negative halide. So you write the product. Okay. Please take one more practice problem. Here potassium carbonate and DBU both are bases. We are using a mixture of basic conditions. I'll give the product also. Okay, you try how the product was formed. The 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangements involving a sulfur atom. So it is allyl sulfur, obviously. This is double bond, allylic system, allylic carbon. On the allylic carbon, we have sulfur. So this is positively charged. Right. So when it is treated with a strong base, again it generates an halide. So what is important is it will generate a negative charge here. Okay, it generates a negative charge here. Then it undergoes 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. I'll give the numbering 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we will have a sigma bond here. We will break this bond. Now the overall ring size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is a 10-membered ring system. Yeah, remember the double bond formed rearranged is almost E double bond. Almost it is an E double bond. In almost most of the cases it will be E double bond. So we must write the double bond here. That means between these two systems. Then we will have a sulfur here. So it is 85% product. Now the rearrangement of allylic sulfur halides in a 2,3 sigmatropic rearrangement fashion is called as Stevens rearrangement. Stevens rearrangement. I'll give you two more examples for this. You practice them. what is the product, and here stereochemistry is very clear, so you must introduce the stereochemistry in the product also. Now I'll explain this in a short fashion. These combination iodomethane and zinc reagents, they'll generate carbene, right? Carbenes are electrophilic in nature. Sulfur, of course, with its lone pairs, it is nucleophilic in nature. So sulfur will attack on carbene. Then it generates positive charge on sulfur, negative charge on carbon. And see, this sulfur is an allylic sulfur. 1, 2, 3. This is allylic system and this is allylic sulfur. So it generates sulfur halide. This exactly fits into the Stevens rearrangement. So you give the product, okay? Because it is below the plane, even the product wherever it is giving attachments on the ring, that must be below the plane. I'll quickly give one more example for practice. How do we generate this allyl sulfurs? It is very simple. Sulfur being nucleophilic in nature, allylic halides, halogen is a good leaving group. So sulfur can undergo nucleophilic substitution on allylic halogens, halides. So it generates allylic sulfur. Yeah, first take the notes. Then I'll give the type. So this undergoes Stevens rearrangement at 20 degrees centigrade to give this product. Here also one sulfur is there. This on hydrolysis, of course, this sulfur, two sulfur groups can be hydrolyzed to give a carbonyl. This is the product. Right. I'll quickly try to explain the things here. Sulfur will undergo nucleophilic substitution, so bromide will be leaving. What we are getting is sulfur. This is the product. Of course, sulfur will get positive charge if it is it is having 3 bonds. Then under basic conditions, we are going to generate the negative charge here. Negative charge between the two sulfur atoms. Okay. Sorry, it is negative charge, it is positive charge. Then this undergoes 2,3 rearrangement to give this product. This upon hydrolysis, we will get the aldehyde.